Hey guys, it's been a couple weeks, and so we are back with you ranting and raving this week. We don't really have anything set to say, so it's just going to be kind of go with the flow. If you have any comments or questions, feel free. I still have to find that box. I just bought a new laptop, so I have to figure out how the heck to use it, so excuse me. Um, but first, I wanted to mention the contest, or the giveaway rather, that we have going on with our YouTube. We still need 500 subscribers. That's when we're going to be doing the giveaway, and they will be picked. The winner will be picked from the people that actually interact with us and talk to us and comment with us. I've had 5 hours of sleep today, so you have to forgive me. And what you can win is one of these lovely poppets, and I actually have two new ones.
Aww.
She's got bells in her hair. And
Aww.
this is my other one. His hair is crazy long too, and he's actually got a little witch hat.
Aww.
So he's awesome. And if you do not want to wait to win one, you can actually purchase them from Mrs. Oddly, and we will post her links in the description.
Yes,
So,
we will. Oh, and your question and answers thing is at the top left. This
see, I
little.
just, I just have to, I just see you, so I'm trying to.
Oh, maybe
Oh, there
not.
we go. Gotcha.
Yeah. So today's show, basically, we're gonna just bitch, and we might say something beneficial, we might not. I don't really care. I'm just bored and pissed off, disgruntled, and just want to talk. Uh, but really, if you want to discuss something, if you want us to mention something, then just put it in the questions little thing over here. Um,
Yeah.
and if you have like a working that you're doing, or if you're considering doing a working and you need some insight or you need some ideas, definitely, today I'm bored, so throw something at me and we might be able to throw some ideas out there. Um, but yeah, that is that will give us something to do at least, so
Yeah.
people start talking or some shit. Anyways, you were in Alaska for a while. How was that?
It was very interesting because the sun did not freaking go down. Well, it goes down technically, but it's never dark. And so it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, all right, telling all the kids they need to go to bed, and they don't believe me that it's so late at night. And they're like, no, we never have to go to bed. It is light out all the time. And then they'd sleep for like 12 hours.
Oh, nice.
So it was a little crazy. No, we had a great time though. We saw Santa's house because we actually stayed in the town of North Pole, so there's a big Santa touristy thing. Um, and we drove from Fairbanks down to Anchorage, which was about 8 hours, and then stayed overnight, and then drove 2 more hours. We drove through a mountain tunnel. It was one way, so it goes like every hour. Cars go each way, and then the train goes through it too, and it's 2.5 miles. So that was very interesting to drive through. And we took a 5-hour cruise tour on the water, saw a ton of animals and glaciers, and actually glaciers breaking off into the water. It was nothing I'll probably ever see again, so I'm really glad that I did it, and I took the kids with me too, and they did really good. They only fought, my two fought with each other, so at least they didn't fight with my boyfriend's kid, so and all the kids got along really well.
Well, that's good. Um,
Yeah.
was there any? Was it cold? Was it cold? Really, really cold? Did you
It
freeze
had
your
actually
balls off?
it had actually rained a lot this summer so far. So the one of the days we were outside, it was kind of rainy and chilly. It was like 70s. It was actually very nice because there was no humidity. I came back to New York and it's 90 and it's crazy humid, and I'm like trying to breathe because the air is just completely different. So the weather was actually pretty nice. It was a little bit cooler, which I prefer.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything like? witchy, like anything magical that you connected with when you were there? Or, I mean, obviously that's not really something that you were really perceiving at the time because you had
Yeah.
other things on your mind, but...
Well, actually, it was very interesting. I'm gonna try not to get into too much information thing. I do a monthly offering to Hecate of monthly blood, and it so happened that that started while I was there. So it was very interesting to find a place to do that. And there was this amazing. I just kind of looked around the backyard, and there was this amazing pine tree that I connected with as I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes because their mosquitoes are like the size of my pinky nail. They're huge.
Ew.
So that was, I could have dealt without the mosquitoes. That was interesting. I did notice when I was on the boat with all of the water that was really, really beneficial and cleansing and uplifting for me. I mean, I am a water sign. I think I need to connect more with bodies of water in general, is what I'm getting from that. Um, we collected a lot of rocks. There, outside that tunnel we drove through, there was just these big, big piles of rocks, and we found some that have quartz going through them, like veins of quartz, and some that is probably iron because it's got that rusty color to it. I have to go through them and look at them some more. So that was interesting. And my kids have turned into total rock kids. So they were picking out different rocks. I came back with rocks in a bag. The bag was like this much full of rocks. So, and I came back with glacier water as well because on the way back we stopped and there was a glacier fed lake. So I scooped up some of that water. I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with it, but I have it. And a driftwood wand. As I was walking back, I noticed this stick that was like perfect wand size, and it tapered down. And I got to figure out what to do with it. The only problem is the wood started to flake off because it's driftwood. So I had to figure out. I probably had to seal it, is what I'm guessing, and then figure out how. I've never made a wand before, so it'll be interesting. So it's definitely something I want to do with that, though. And it made it in one piece on the suitcases, so it has to be used.
It does. Yes, I agree. I've never made a wand before either. I I can't make shit like that. I get so anal, and I'm like, it looks ugly. I need it to be perfect, and this looks jacked. I can't work with it.
I don't know. I may just figure out how to.
Totally just froze. I promise I didn't ban her this time. She just kind of went away. Seriously. Okay. Anyways, that was strange, and she's still off. So if anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to say anything, help me out because I am going blank right now. Um, although there was something said in yes, another group that I'm in. I went on this like rampage or rampage, rant, whatever, uh, because so many people are. And I'm pretty sure I've tackled this before, but I don't care. So many people have posted like they always ask for shit. They always ask you, I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm going, spraining my ankle and send me good vibes. Or broke a fucking nail. It hurts so bad I'm gonna die. Can you please send your healing to me? There's so many other different things that people say. They ask all these different things, and they just go crazy. They expect you to cast for them. They think, this is going to go on another thing. They think that because we are witches, that we're somehow all family. We're brothers and sisters, and it really weirds me out when people I don't know call me brother. They better not fucking call me
Same.
sister. I'm
Yeah.
your sister.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that it doesn't bother me, but it just weirds me out. Like, I don't know you. Don't call me brother. I'm not your brother, and I'm not. And if you were related to me, I'd probably not help you. I don't really care for my family, so you're fucked. But I think it's very rude and disrespectful for people to post things and expect that just because we are somehow magically inclined and we're connected that we owe each other that we have to help each other. And you shouldn't really expect that to be done for you. You shouldn't expect someone to work on your behalf. You shouldn't expect for someone to do shit for you and not even be grateful. It's like you're demanding something and you're not grateful at all. You're not asking, you're demanding, and that's bullshit. That post was deleted, and I asked why it was deleted because that was a waste of my fucking time. I posted it in that space for a reason, and it was deleted. And I didn't violate rules. I didn't do anything like that, and I obviously posted it in other groups as well. Maybe that's why it was deleted, because it's cross-posting. But in the two other groups that I'm a part of that I shared it in, there's a little discussion. There's a lot of interesting things that people had to say about that. But in the one group, it was just removed. There was a lot of pissy comments because people think, well, who are you to say that you shouldn't help someone, or who are you? People are asking for a reason, blah blah blah. What are you laughing at over there?
Who are you to use all of your energy on somebody that you don't know and may not even use it correctly or be able to handle it? That's why I was laughing.
Exactly. I mean, I don't get it. It baffles me. How?
I think as witches, we should do what we can to preserve nature and different aspects of nature, and use your time like that. Give your time that way as freely as you can. As far as other people or other witches, they should be able to fucking help themselves. Or
You
at
would
least other
think.
witches should be able to help themselves.
You would think. And I don't have a problem with helping people. I really don't. It's just the self-entitlement. It's like, because I'm a witch and you're a witch, I should automatically feel compelled to help you. And I'm just looking at you like, you're a little pissant over there. You can't back your shit up. You don't know shit. Why am I going to help you? You can't help yourself. You're not trying to help yourself. And that's the thing. It's like, why would I want to help someone who's not going to help themselves, or who's not going to, do anything to improve their own situation?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. That's pointless, really.
Yeah, it is, because you're not going to be able to utilize that energy properly or the way it needs to be used. Something else that was posted in that group that you're talking about is, when you ask for energy in a group of people that's got 20,000 people in it, she was like, do you just let down your shields and let people throw all that negative energy at you? It's like, how do you actually bring in that energy when you're asking in a group that's that big?
Right.
I don't, and I think if people actually did send it, it probably would bounce right back off you anyways.
Well, it's just, here's the thing. The people who are asking are so up their own ass that even if people were sending, they wouldn't even connect with it, because again, it comes with the frequency, or the thought patterns that they're throwing out. When they demand something to be done and they expect it to be done without actually being grateful, or basically saying, thank you for the help, can you help me with this? No, they're saying, can you do it for me? So when someone's trying to send it to them, I don't really think that it always works, because they're not aligning with the help that's being given.
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. I just kind
No,
of blah blah.
that makes sense because I know that you do a lot of one-on-one personal like energy exchanges and healings and stuff, and I think when it's one-on-one and you know that you're going to be connecting with the person is definitely a lot easier. I mean, we've done it, I've felt it, so I know that it's easier to connect where if somebody's just throwing something at you or trying to connect when you have not given them permission, which has also happened to me, and was successfully blocked actually. But you really need to have the understanding of what you're receiving and what the other person is sending to you.
I think so. I think that's important. That for some reason when you said when someone's sending to you, against your will, that just gave me the chills. I'm like, ew, that's kind of creepy because I've had that happen to me too. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people mean well, but there are other times when it's kind of it's eerie feeling. It's like you can feel someone sending to you, and it's like, ew, get up out of my business. Go away.
Yeah, it's
You're
your
freaking
personal
out.
it's your personal space. I mean, it's your energetic space. That happened recently. I remember somebody saying recently that is I'm not going to name any names who has clients who does work for other people, and this person had said that somebody had decided to cast a spell for them to help them out, and they're like, I know what's going on in my life, you don't. So let me do my own work. If I need help, I will go to somebody and ask for help.
Yes, that would kind of piss me off. No, that would really piss me off because I've had that happen to me, and it's like you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I choose to go through. So do not cast on my
Mm-hmm.
behalf without my permission. I think that's different. I mean, another witch, I would say don't do that. But if you're casting this, I guess we can talk about as well. What about casting for, let's say you have a family member that is having some real challenges who really can't speak for themselves maybe or is younger and they need that assistance. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
would you feel okay casting on their behalf in that situation?
Um,
And this is not a person who's a witch.
I think, see, I have to, when it comes to my own children, I'm the boss, and so I have done things for them, mostly healing and protection. I haven't really done anything super crazy with them, but that's my discretion as their parent. I
Right.
take care of them. That's part of me taking care of them. As far as, say, like a younger cousin or something, I think it would depend on the situation, but I think that I would. If somebody was sick, I would definitely try to send some healing energy, but I don't think I would do a full blown thing. Some things do need to take their course. I guess it depends how much information I have, really, to be honest.
I honestly think that's like vital for anything that a witch does because a lot of people say, well, you're a hypocrite because you say one thing, you do another thing, but it's not about being a hypocrite. It's about taking the information and doing what is
Hmm.
necessary. Because sometimes you believe one way, but sometimes what is necessary is to do something that is not currently in your belief system or belief, pattern. Um, I would do anything for my nieces and nephew, so if I felt, depending on the information that was provided, if I felt that something needed to be done, I would not hesitate to do it. But when it comes to another witch, like for you example, like if I felt that you needed something, I would not. There is no way in hell that I would cast on your behalf
Yeah.
without your permission. I don't understand that, and I see a lot of that going on with um, practitioners. I guess I don't even know what I want to call them, but we'll just say practitioners. They are casting for each other without each other's knowledge, and that's just stupid. Um, so when it comes to another practitioner, I don't think I would do that. I know I wouldn't do that. It's
Hmm.
it's a boundary that I would not cross unless, again, unless it was something very very severe that was needed and I couldn't get your permission.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there's if somebody's in a coma or something, but there's other, which is always the example. There's other ways to fix figure that out between
Right.
just communicating with your deities and your spirits, or using tarot cards, using divination. Witches do not use enough divination, and divination is a very, very powerful tool that can even tell you how to cast a spell in certain situations, or what to do, what you need.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, like, if let's say you were somehow in jail or something, I couldn't get to you. I consider you
Mm.
my family. So again, I do anything for the family that I like, at least. Um, so I would do something, but I would have to, if I couldn't communicate with you, physically, I would do so, like you said, with divination. I would communicate with
Mm.
spirit. I would contact your spirit. I would do what I could to get that communication going. And you're right, Pete. Witches do not implement divination enough. They use it to help themselves out in certain ways, but they don't really use it in their witchcraft. It,
Mm.
they don't use it enough to figure out, like, okay, what do I need to do? When's the best time for this? How should I go about this? They usually use it like, oh no, I have a breakup. What do I do now? I need some healing. They don't use it enough in their practice to help them figure out what needs to be done. Um,
Yeah, and there's those other people too that feel like you need to go through every single mundane route before you start practicing magic. And I'll tell you what, there have been times where I'm like, I knew I should have done this spell work months or maybe even a year ago. And if I did, I would not be in the situation that I am in right now. I mean, to me, magic is not an easy, quick fix. I mean, you're going to get what you ask for, and it's not necessarily in the way that you wanted it. But there are times where you have to do the mundane and the magic, and sometimes focus more on the magic, which is what I've had to do that in the past. I think people aren't confident enough in their abilities and maybe their ability to read the divination. I think that's a big thing. Is there's a lot of self doubt, or people don't have the practice or the time to practice. Because I think the more so the witches of old, that's what they did. That was their life. That was what brought food into the house. Nowadays we have jobs and the witch stuff. It's like two separate parts, whereas before it was just one part. So it was easier to connect with your cards or your pendulum or your fire scrying or whatever it is that you do.
right. Yeah. It, I don't even. Yeah. Um, People like to separate their supposed mundane life from their witchy life, as you said, and it's not possible. I mean, I think that a lot of people who try and do that are very unhappy, or there's a lot of disconnect and a lot of discomfort in their life because of it, because they're working so hard at separating this this huge aspect of who they are, and it's not something you really can change. A witch is a witch, and you can't change that about yourself. That's in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you can separate. And when you try and separate these things that are who you are, um, you get very. Some people get very angry, very depressed. There's so many different things that happen. So it's like, stop trying to separate it and just become and embody the full aspect of who you are, and a lot of things that will just make so much happier witches.
Yeah.
um let's see, back to, like, I guess what we were talking about in the beginning. Prairie asks, wouldn't too many people throwing so many different energies out block or cancel out said energies? I mean, it seems crazy to throw it out there with the hope that the right energy will find you. It seems silly.
I think it would overwhelm me if that many people were sending me stuff. I think it would overwhelm me. Um, I don't really know too much about blocking each other out, but I would feel overwhelmed.
I think I don't know. I guess it could neutralize it, because I mean, if you think about, like, people practicing to win the lottery, you have so many people trying to win the lottery, and all the energy is just going at it, and you can't get to it, because there's so many people with so much desire trying to get that one result, that it's just really not. happening. So I think that would kind of fit in with all these people who aren't on the same page, that they have their own motives, their own reasons for sending this energy. I think that would really, determine how that energy is taken too.
You may also, I just thought of this, have people who take advantage of that are maybe energy vampires. And while all these people are sending this specific person, energy, there's somebody else over here that's just sucking it away from him. That just popped right into my head. I never even thought about that before. But it's true. Was it the noise I made? What was it?
Damn suckers!
I mean, I could see people just trolling those posts to try to take that energy, honestly.
That would be smart.
Did I just
I
give you
mean,
an idea?
no, not me, but for those, for people who like feeding off of that energy, that would be so smart. Oh, boo-hoo, my cat died. Send me healing vibes. And you have that would be very smart.
Yeah.
That, I have to try that sometime. uh, yeah. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is I'm pretty sure that we've talked about this before, but again, I said I don't really give a fuck. That's just what it is. The disrespect. I like using that word, disrespect. Uh, the disrespect of ingredients, of tools. Magical tools are very important. If you don't have them, that's cool. I'm not saying that they're necessary per se, but they're not just tools. They're not like this right here. Smells so good. It's not just a tool. It has a life. It has a spirit. There's something in it. It's not to be disrespected and discarded like, oh, whatever, it's a tool, I'm throwing it away. I can't stand when witches just say, oh, it's a tool, you don't need tools. Yeah.
See, to me, I always think of magic in different levels. Like, you have your lower level where maybe you don't need as much tools or as much energy, where it's like a smaller thing. And then you have these big, like, crisis spells where you need to do, like, all of this big stuff, and you may need more stuff. That's how I think of things. Because first I'm like, all right, what am I doing? What do I need? And then you got to figure out if you actually want to do it, go from there. Tools are, people that say that you don't need tools, I can see that maybe for smaller things, but for the big things, which is what everybody's casting for because nobody does the small shit anymore, you need tools. You need to be able to connect with them and to utilize them properly.
Right, and it's hard because it's hard for me to express it because you don't need them per se. It's not a necessity, but at the same time, you do need to work with them. And when you do, whatever working you're doing, if you do choose to work with a tool, I just want people to see it as more than just a tool. It's like this isn't just a bracelet. This isn't just a crystal. They have an essence. There's a spirit.
Yes.
There's a purpose. And so every time you work with that tool, you give it even more purpose. You add your essence to it. You add other energies to it, and it becomes something. It already starts as something, but it becomes something even more. So let's say you're working with a wand for 10 years, and you treat it as just a tool, like, oh, it's a tool, whatever, and you throw it somewhere. If some shit happens to you, if that wand starts to backfire you, if you use it in a spell, and that spell goes, fucked, I would really consider that it was most likely because you had that disrespect for the spirit of the wand. Because and that's how I view things. It's like you shouldn't treat something that you're constantly working with or that is a part of your magical practice as simply a tool. Like, just, it's not necessary, whatever. I'm gonna throw it in the garbage. I'm gonna just throw it wherever I want to throw it, and it's gonna be fine. I don't care. The more, sorry, go ahead.
No, see, if you don't make a connection with something, like I have an athame, I never made a connection with it. It's I don't know where the hell it is right now. But if I were to go find it and then try to use it, I would not expect it to take me seriously because I did not take it seriously. So if you do not connect with something, do whatever the hell you want. Give it to somebody who may connect with it, but don't try to use it and expect results because you're probably not going to get them.
Why don't you take your athame seriously? That's not nice.
I don't know because it's like this big.
Oh well, you
Can't take
know.
anything this big seriously. I have it somewhere. I have it somewhere, and I don't know. I haven't really used it. The athame and the wands are not something I've really gotten into. I mean, some of my other stuff, I really do need to get back more into a lot of my tools. I really need to start doing that.
You know what's funny is I don't really use a lot of tools such as like athames or wands. I do use other things, but I think who was it? Was it Nimbus who posted a picture of an athame? I
Yeah.
think, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, and they started a whole post, and a lot of people posted
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah. That asshole made me want to get one because it was so nice, and I was like, this really nice. I'm like, shit, I want to buy one. What
As I said, mine's only like this big. I got it in like a Wicca starter kit,
I don't
and
want a tiny one.
I never used it. It's like I have a wand. It's like a 6-inch selenite wand, and I just not doing it for me. I actually have another one that I bought from a friend of mine that I like better. Than I have this driftwood piece. So I mean, I don't even know where the selenite wand is, but something like that. I feel maybe I should find somebody just to gift it to, that somebody will actually use it. I have to find them first. Oh, excuse me. I have to find them first. Um, I've noticed though, with me personally, when I use tools and utilize oils and herbs and different things, I get results a fuckload faster than if I just said some chants or some prayers. A lot of the times when I've done the just use your intentions, it doesn't do anything for me. So when I use tools and I collect everything and I get maybe it just helps me focus better. I get into that space and actually focus on the work. I have results within days usually. And even just candle spells, just getting that candle and cleaning it and anointing it and inscribing it and lighting it. It doesn't have to be. I don't usually do crazy shit. Usually, most of my work is just candle work, and it's quick. It is so quick. It scares me sometimes, but it is so fast. But if I just do chants and prayers and whatever, it doesn't work for me.
Namaha Shiva.
But somebody who is connected in that way, it would work for better.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, a lot of people say tools like these candles, herbs, they're just focal points, and that's a bunch of bullshit. And I think that's why it works so much faster, like for you, for me, for a lot of people, because you're not just working with a tool, you're working with that spirit. If you're doing it properly, you're working with that spirit, you're working with an essence, with that energy, and it's not just your energy, the energy of the gods or ancestors, spirits, whatever you work with, but also the essence of the herbs, the oils, everything. They're all coming together as one to bake a really amazing cupcake.
Exactly.
But no, that's why it works so amazingly, because you have all these things aligned for the specific purpose, and they're supporting and uplifting each other. I mean, can you imagine, like, if you had one person and you have thousands of people supporting them, uplifting them to achieve their goal? They're going to go farther than this one person who has 1,000 people against them.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah, that makes sense. And that's the huge thing why I hate when people say tools are just tools and they're just for focal points and they're not necessary. Because when they say they're not necessary, they mean it in a degrading way, I guess I want to say. They don't mean it out of, like, you don't really need a tool. I can't even fucking express.
People get so cranky because they're like, oh, well, I need to do the spell for this, but I can't afford to buy the ingredients. And But
Can we talk?
you don't need, and we've talked about this before too, you don't need a lot of stuff to do a spell work, but you do need stuff. You could use a candle and olive oil or any kind of oil and put your intentions into it, and it's the actual act of inscribing the candle and anointing the candle and lighting the candle. I'm gonna keep going back to candle because that's usually what I do. You can't find a black candle, well, freaking look harder, because I have boxes of chime candles that are black. That I ordered a bunch of candles in bulk, all these chime candles, because I love using chime candles because they only burn for about 2 hours, which is perfect for me. Um, and yeah, I mean, just find them. You don't need a black one, use a white one. I've used white a lot too for everything. If you don't have $5 to do a spell, then you need to do a spell to get yourself some fucking money so you can do the spell you need to do.
Thank you, thank you. Seriously, this, I try. Oh God, but yes, I try not to. Shut up. Uh, I don't even know what I was trying to say. Okay,
And you
no.
can look in your kitchen cabinets for stuff. I mean, you have stuff already, you just don't know it.
Seriously, you have a fucking house. If you have a house and have an apartment, you got hell. If you are a bum and you live outside, you have shit. Bums probably have a lot more shit than some of these witches that claim to have nothing. Bum probably has like a candle. They probably have all these other items and tools that they can probably cast effective witchcraft. When all these witches at home in their 2-story homes complain about how they have no money, they got no food, and they're like, oh, I can't practice today because I don't got any money. I'm sipping some mimosas and my pool boy is late.
Start a change jar, and that could be your spell money. I don't know. You can.
Money pisses me off. People's beliefs around money piss me off, especially witches. You don't have money, then cast for it.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a fucking job. You can't get a job, cast for it. Work
That's personal
at something.
gain. That's personal gain.
Shit. Damn, sorry, violated the rule. Send me to Witchy police camp, whatever.
Police camp.
I don't know. I'm talking out my ass.
And that's another. People try to impose their rules on everybody else, and it's like, aren't the Uber Christians and Muslims and Jewish people doing that to us? I probably just offended a whole bunch of people, but I mean, isn't that what the fundamentalists do and the Jehovah's Witnesses and knock on your door? Aren't they trying to push their rules on you? We need to stop doing it to each other. If somebody says, I want to hex my boyfriend because he cheated on me, you either walk away from the post or you fucking help them. It is up to them to figure out what they want to do.
Absolutely. And you know what? If people would even say, okay, you want to do this, that's cool. I don't believe this way, and this is why, but if you need help, then you might try this or do it this way. If you want to express your opinion, that's fine, but do not condemn someone or tell them that what they're doing is wrong. You can say, well, I wouldn't do it this way. I would, in my path, in my belief, this is how I would address it. Give them options. Don't tell them that they're stupid because they're trying to curse their boyfriend because he has a tiny penis and he used it in someone else. That's not beneficial.
That's easy to deal with. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, the binding versus banishing. Everybody wants to bind everybody. It was a good segue. Everybody wants to bind everybody. How do I bind this person? And then you have to find out why. What are you binding them from? Why? And it's just so many times it's like, just get rid of them. You don't need them in your life. When you're binding them, I think you're kind of, on the most part, especially if you're not doing it right, you're binding them to you in one way or another, and then you'll never get rid of them. They'll never stop.
That's one thing, obviously, that really pisses me off. It's people are just so damn stupid. Like, I don't even. They're dumb. People are dumb. And if y'all 7 viewers that are watching right now, y'all pissed off because I said people are stupid, that's fine. I'm okay with it. But binding means to make something come together. You're binding things together. So when people say they want to bind someone and they're trying to banish someone, it's like, no, honey, that's banishing. You want to get rid of them. You don't want to bring them together.
Like when they say they want to bind their ex-husband from bothering them. No, you want to banish him and get him a new girlfriend so he leaves you alone.
Right.
That's what you want them to move on and to move forward and to leave you alone. And if you can't do that, then you keep them busy so they don't bother you. So maybe you get them to fight with their girlfriend so they leave you the hell alone. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do. Binding is usually... I love my freezer spells, but binding is not always the right thing to do. It really depends on the situation.
Yes. When you bind, you want to make a cake. And I like vegan chocolate cake, so can you bind me a cake? Obviously. No, it's just, go get a fucking dictionary and look it up. Like, what does binding mean? What does banishing mean? It's really simple. But I think it's scary because a lot of people utilize binding as banishing, and a lot of people are teaching, which this is going to get into a different topic I want to talk about a little bit, but teaching that you should bind for everything, pretty much. And what they aren't teaching is when you bind someone, you are, like you said, tying a piece of yourself to that situation. So if you're binding that abusive ex, that's fucked. You're keeping yourself tied to him, and that's not healthy, and that's not doing the practitioner any good, because they're gonna keep that raw energy, they're gonna keep that memory alive because they bound it to them. You want to banish the fucker, get them the fuck out.
And if for whatever reason you can't banish them because for whatever reason, there are reasons where you can't, and you may be in a situation, then fucking dominate them. Get them to bend down to you instead of the other way around. People don't want to ever do that. If you're in a situation where you got a baby daddy, or it's your sister, or your parents, or whatever, and you're in a really bad situation, make them dominate them. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but... or just that's the best way to get them to stop. Binding them is not really going to get them to stop. Freezing works to an extent because it seems like everybody figures out how to get around it. Because if you freeze somebody for a specific reason, then they start doing something else, or they go through another channel to get to you. So maybe they'll leave you alone, but then they're going to start messing with your boyfriend, and that affects your relationship. So that is another reason I like my freezer spells, but I have seen people can wiggle around them, and I have seen it. Not just in my life, in other people too.
Absolutely, and that's where knowing your craft and knowing how to check into what you're doing comes in. I'm so pissed off my baby daddy ain't paid my bills. Sorry. Yeah.
And there's a spell for that too.
There's a spell for everything.
I found it on Lucky Mojo, and I did it, and like a week later I got a tax refund. That wasn't mine, because it was a back child support. Shit works.
It does, and it's like you have to put yourself into practice. You have to practice your craft in order to get results. If you're not practicing, you're not going to get results. And people are so worried, oh, I can't practice, blah, blah, blah. I have to wait and do this. No, practice makes perfect. Practice
Everything needs to be
craft.
perfect. I don't have an altar. I can't leave it out. My parents hate me, or my sister is. Just do something. Figure it
Yeah,
out.
practice gets results. That's
Mhm.
simple. Um, I lost train of thought. Uh, yeah, there's like 6 people watching this shit. You all could be talking, asking some questions because I'm running out of bullshit.
But I'm running out of
Kidding,
material.
just kidding. I'm not. But no, there. Okay, in this group, again, a group. You guys fuel me with so much amazing stuff, and I have to thank you. I'm so grateful for that. Um, there's this conversation going on saying that as witches, as magical practitioners, it is our duty to, and basically our, our responsibility to guide and train other people, other witches, other magical practitioners. Like, we're somehow responsible for all these dumbasses that are trying to come and practice.
No.
I mean, what do you have to say about that?
I've still never been formally trained in anything, and I got really really lucky in connecting with the people that I have connected with and learning from them through conversation. I can't say I haven't been in any formal training yet. I'm going to be working on that because it's something that I feel that I want. Um, but I didn't think it was anybody's responsibility to teach me. It's my responsibility to figure out the information and figure out who is being truthful and who is being honest and everything like that. And I do see people jumping on the false information because they want the happy, fluffy shit and they don't want the real work or to figure out the real root of the problem. I am not a teacher. I can have conversations and I can talk to you and tell you things that I've learned from either from you, from other people that I talk to, from the internet, from books, whatever it may be, but I'm not going to sit here and teach. That's not how I am, and I don't want that responsibility. Because if you screw up, it's on you. But if I taught you, then it's on me, and I'm not ready for that role. Me personally, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, and then you have to deal with all these whining bitches and just all this drama, and then you have expectations. It's a lot of responsibility, and sometimes, I mean, I don't even think teachers who teach are ready to teach. It's something that they are passionate about. It's something that they kind of throw themselves into, and they know
Yeah.
they want to do it, and then they discover more about it as they do so. But there's no way that I would ever say that it is up to every single one of us practitioners to guide and nurture and teach other practitioners, because there's a problem with that. That's a huge problem nowadays, because you have all these people thinking, oh, I've been on my path for 2 months, I know shit. I've been on my path for 2 years, I know shit. And they're training other people. They think that because they've been on their path for so long, they can teach other people.
Uh-huh.
And it, oh, yeah.
Or they've become a high priestess online, which is crap. I mean, as far as that goes, I do believe that you need training and initiation for a lot of, like I've said before, I think Wicca should go back to being an initiatory religion because it is a religion. There's a lot of things that I feel, even though I've never been through it, but I feel that you gain through initiation and through working with people closely and working with their energies and your teacher and your mentor, whatever you want to call it. I do feel a benefit to that, which is why I want to do some kind of training when I'm able to. Because I feel that's what's good for me. A lot of people don't want to do that because it costs money or they don't know anybody in their area. They haven't looked hard enough. There is a teacher for everybody, and it's not necessarily always something that you pay for in a monetary way. And if you can't afford a teacher, then fucking cast a spell so you can get some money so you can find one, or find a teacher that maybe is not charging. It's not going to be us. But find
Oh,
somebody who that is what they do. I don't see, with people that do not charge, that is their choice, and people that do charge, that is their choice. I don't condemn anybody either way. If you want to do it for free, go ahead. If you want to charge, go ahead. But I'm not going to place blame or say that you should do it the other way. So I don't want it to seem like I'm like, yes, everybody has to charge. I mean, if free training was available to me and I felt like it was beneficial and is something that I'm going to benefit from, I'm not going to say it's any less than something I have paid for. There are things that I have paid for, haven't gotten shit from, and there are things that I've had done for free that I gained a lot of knowledge from. So it really depends.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want people to get the wrong impression about that either, because we are very adamant about people paying, and it's true, they should. But those who do charge, like you said, or who do not charge, that's their choice. But I always try and express, like, if you're going to do something for free, like no money is involved, have something involved, have some sort of exchange, or have something that you can exchange, even if it's just talking, even if it's just I don't know, anything, but make sure there's some sort of exchange going on. So I don't know, I just think that is important. And so
it's like a one-sided relationship. Have it be your significant other or a friend. I mean, if you're the one that's doing all the work, it drains you. And there has to be that kind of even exchange. You can find a buddy that will do swap tarot readings. I've done it before. You swap tarot readings with somebody, or any other kind of divination method, or any skills that the other person may have. That's awesome too. And it doesn't have to be right away. You can kind of have a rain check if you don't need something just yet. Definitely even energy exchange. And because I have done the free thing, and then the person keeps coming back and they want more and they want more, and it's the same fucking question every time, the same answer every time, because they have not done the work. And it gets frustrating for me because I feel like it makes me look stupid because I'm giving them the same answer, but it's because they're not doing what they need to be doing. This is a non-practitioner too. It's like, stop coming to me or pay me, because now you're wasting my time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And we do not like our time being wasted. That's for damn sure. Prairie asks, what would be a recommended learning site for those younger ones who would like to learn? That's
it's hard.
That is very hard, because I think it really depends on the individual. I don't think there's any one school or online source that is catered to children properly.
I don't know if she means younger ones or just newer people. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, hello. Clarify.
Because I could say that, as a new I started practicing, it's only been September, it'll be 4 years, and I'm 31, so I started a little bit later than some people, but I would consider myself maybe a newer practitioner, but I'm not young. I mean, to me, young is like 15, maybe start around that time, you know what I mean? As a teenager, but so that's why see if she clarifies on that one.
Yeah, I don't, and even if it's a new practitioner or even a young practitioner, that's really hard for me, because, like I've stated, I started at 10, and
she said newer.
Yeah, newer. So a newer practitioner, that's a little easier. So we'll forget what I was going to go say over there. But newer practitioner, that I guess, I don't know. Come check out Deviant Witchery group, Deviant Witchery page, the Deviant Witch page. Even the Great Witches, their page is pretty cool, obviously. Yeah. But I have... Go ahead.
Hold on, this is what I'm going to say about this. Get yourself a journal. Write down the things that you want to learn, or things that you want to know, or the questions that you have. Research them. Look online, not just one website. Look on several. Find books. talk to people who can point you in the right direction on where to find this research. And if you still don't get it, then you ask your questions.
Yeah.
Because if you just ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, you're not going to get as much as if you do the work yourself. And people's opinions are opinions, is how I feel about it. You can ask one question and get 5 different opinions, and depending on who you believe is going to be your answer. And I believe you need to do the research on your own, figure it out. And if in your travels you found people that specialize in several areas, because this is pretty much what I did, this is why I'm recommending it. If you find people that are specialized in different areas, then you contact them and have a conversation with them about any questions that you have, and you may find that if they can't answer you, they know somebody who can. And that's just how you grow, and that's how you find the people that teach you stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that would save so many people a lot of time, is just like you said, writing down what they want to learn, because then you have something to go by instead of have so many people asking all these damn questions, and they're going like from here to here to here.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over the fucking place, and it's like, you need to focus. What do you want
Yeah.
to know?
There's so much. That's what it is. It's very overwhelming when you're a newer person and trying to figure out, and it is very overwhelming.
I'm trying to go through my bookmarks. Like, I don't even know a website that I really, really like. That Traditional Witch. There's a website called Traditional Witch, or Traditional Witchcraft. I can't remember. But I really like that one. I get a lot of information from that, and just this discussion that goes on. Robin Artisan. I've read a lot of his page, and he kind of rambles a lot, but I like listening to his rambles. There's a lot of information, like so much information, and I have benefited a lot from just reading his website. I'm trying to think of anything.
And there's also a couple podcasts. I listen to Lucky Mojo and Christian Day. And Lucky Mojo, you kind of have to, they kind of BS for like the first half of it, talk about whatever they're working on, and then they'll take 3 callers and do divination and tell them what kind of spell work they can do to help their situation. It's very interesting listening to the situation and the divination and the readings. I've actually learned a lot from tarot readings just by listening to that show. And also Christian Day, you have the same thing. He bitches and complains for the first hour, and then he talks to his guests. And I have learned a lot of things just by listening to other people talk.
I love Lucky Mojo. I love that place. And that website is fucking awesome. She has compiled so much information, produced so much information on just the website alone. Like, go there and look, and that's hoodoo. It's not witchcraft really. It's hoodoo, but it has so much to offer. Respect it, learn from it. Go
And
ahead.
you can adapt it. I mean, because hoodoo works with the saints and Jesus, and it's a very Christian-based thing. But I've taken all of that information and I have transferred it and doing my own thing, and it's still spirit work but I'm not talking to the saints, because I have never had any connection with any of them, or the angels. I've never done any of that kind of work. So I'm not going to be like, hey, I need something, because it's probably not going to happen, or they're probably going to expect something major from me. But you can take things, don't take something word for word. You have to make it your own and change it. I did a spell, I think it was over a month ago, and it was a hoodoo spell, and it was everything about Jesus, and that's who the petition was to. And I changed it to my goddess and it actually ended up becoming very more severe when I changed it, because my goddess is very more severe than Jesus is. And it's just how it happened, and it was what needed to be done. So if you can't write from scratch, you can tweak.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? There's some YouTube channels that I like watching. I forgot the dude's name.
Yes.
Mr. Shadow Boy or something. I'll put
yes.
his link in the description. But he is awesome. I love his videos.
He's very honest and he's
Yeah.
traditional. He's very, very traditional.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
really. It's hard. I don't really know. Others. I don't. Now that I. Now that this question was asked and I'm thinking about it, I really don't have many websites that I go to. I have people that I go to. I have books that I go to, but more so I have people. I talk to my friends. If I can't get it directly from Spirit, I don't know why I just did that. Uh, but if I cannot get it directly from Spirit, if I can't get it from friends or books, I don't have websites that I really utilize other than like Lucky Mojo and the traditional witch website. Uh, yeah, I don't.
I think
Hmm.
there's more that I'd like to avoid rather than go to.
Oh God, yeah.
And yeah, that's what I have found.
But if you want like a book list, I have that on all of our pages in our group, so you can see the suggested reading list because there's some really awesome books. I like the encyclopedia of was it 5,000 spells or something. That shit
Yeah,
is amazing.
I
Um,
have it.
yeah, that one it gives you so many ideas. I think that's a really good training source, really. Um, and Utterly Wicked, Dorothy Morrison. Haha, because I'm a bitch.
I love
No.
Dorothy Morrison. I can't wait for Hexfest.
Oh, I
Oh,
know. Y'all should come to Hexfest. We're going to Hexfest next year. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun, and she's gonna get really, really drunk, and I'm gonna have to be like, YouTube.
oh no. No, I keep thinking like I've met Christopher Penzak is going to be there. I've met him before.
I've never met anyone.
He's such a he's a very intelligent person, but he has such a calming energy about him too. I don't know how to explain it. You want to be near him. It's really you just want to be near him.
Are you
And
gonna try to touch him? You want to touch him?
no, I took a picture with him. I may
Oh
have touched
yeah.
his shoulder. I don't know. Um, the Grimaces are going to be there. I've met them twice actually. Um, they're cool. I don't really subscribe into any of the drama or any of the past stuff that happened with them. With them and Silver Ravenwolf, I don't care. Um, they were pretty cool. Who else? I'm trying to think who else is going to be there. Dorothy Morrison's going to be there. Christian Day. I've been listening to his radio, so that would be kind of interesting to meet him. He's a big personality.
I
He's a
like.
big
I need to
personality.
watch his podcast. I really haven't. I like the work that he's done that I've seen. I like his posts. I've seen that. I should send him a friend request. No, but
Who else is going to be there?
Fiona Horn is going to be there. Is Judica going to be there?
Oh, I think so. Oh,
There's a
let
lot
me
of.
let me look. I
There,
think I've met her. I've met Judica, but I didn't really. That was when I was like brand spanking new. I didn't really have the guts to talk to anybody.
there's a lot of badass witches practitioners that are going to be there. I'm like so fucking stoked and nervous at the same time because it's going to be like my first time doing anything like this. Like I don't fly and I'm going to fly. I hate large crowds and groups, and I'm going to be doing that too. And I can barely stand this girl right here, and I'm going to be like in the same space.
I
Um,
know. We kind of jam packed the rooms too.
I know it's so crazy.
It just happened that way.
But anyone who's watching, like, you should come to Hexfest. We need to start like this whole witchy revolution.
Oh, Peter Patton is going to be there.
Oh yeah,
He's the one that wrote the book that I started reading, the one about glamour. And Starcast, this is going to be there.
I love
I've listened to her
Star.
on his. I've listened to her on Christian's show, and I love her attitude.
I love her attitude as well. Her work, her book, Working the Root, amazing.
I haven't read that one yet. Nobody else that I know personally. But yeah, it's Judica is going to be there. Christopher Penzak, Dorothy Morrison, Peter Patton, Raven, and Stephanie Grimassi, Starcassus. Those are yeah. And I'm very curious as to how they do everything, but I really want to meet Dorothy actually because I haven't met her. So
I know. I want to meet Dorothy too. Because I mean, I love Dorothy. Like I don't look up to many witches, and I don't mean that as like any disrespect to anyone. It's just I don't like how we have our idols. Dorothy, I don't know. There's just something about her and the way she expresses herself, her no bullshit attitude, that I absolutely love. And her products, like I've bought her oils. That shit fucking works.
Mm.
Like, some people you buy something and like, whatever, and or I have to do more work than what I really should, or I don't know. But I barely use some of her her bitch be gone oil. That shit worked like in a week. That was, I mean, it was some awesome stuff.
I've used the bitch be gone too. And by the
I'm
way,
still
okay,
here.
so it wasn't on you. I don't think it would work on you. That's another thing. Okay, so this is what I noticed. I was doing this thing, and Michael has said before that when you're using something like Bitch Be Gone, which is not something you want on your. Oh no, I used Sucks to Be You, which is a hexing oil. That's what I use. So I'm using
Nice.
It Sucks to Be You, and that's what it's actually called. And I'm like, okay, Michael said before, use gloves. All right, so I put on my gloves and I do my thing. And then now I'm touching other stuff and I'm transferring the oil. So when you do spell work that requires gloves, make sure you have a couple pairs. Because
Yes.
I threw out like a book of matches and a couple other things that I got oil all over. And I'm like, all right, I don't want this because it's got this It Sucks to Be You oil on it, and I don't want it to be Suck to Be Me. So, so keep that in mind if you're doing more demanding, compelling hexing work. Have a couple pairs of gloves with you. That's definitely something that I learned from that.
Always good to have protection.
Yes.
I mean, it's true. Like all those oils, I don't know if it's just stupid witches or just people in general. People don't really think about that stuff, and it's important. Like when you're doing hexing or you're using oils like that, you really should put protection on, because, at least in my belief, you should, because you don't want that on you. You're not trying to put it on you. You want it on someone else. So the more that you can keep out of contact with all that stuff, the better, because you're focusing it on an individual or a situation, and you want to keep it distinct from you. If there is transference, if you do have get some on you, then you are even more connected to that situation, and you might be influenced by it. So you want to keep yourself clean. So if by any chance, if you do get it on you, make sure to do a cleansing, clean that shit off, and get yourself right. Simple.
So I always wash my hands after everything, because I get oils everywhere. So I always wash my hands, and depending on that work, I did do a cleansing afterwards. I already knew I was going to. But yeah, you need to get yourself right there's been times too when I've done something that's more positive working, and you get the oils on your fingers. Like I did a video on Witches of the Moon on my honey jar, and this happened when I did the spell too. I have what is that your is that a honey jar, or is that your witch's bottle?
No, I am not showing my witch's bottle, okay? That shit's clear, and you're not going to see. No, this is my honey jar. Amazing.
In the Patron. Okay.
In the Patron container.
Okay, but anyway, so I'm doing this honey jar spell, and I anoint the paper, the pictures, with this love oil, and I stick it in the honey. And part of the spell is you stick it in the honey, and you're supposed to lick some of the honey off of your fingers as you're saying these words. And I have honey and this oil on my fingers, and it's all in my mouth. So you have to keep, and I did that twice. And then when I was doing the demonstration for the video, I did the same thing. So you have to be aware of what you're doing when you're doing stuff like that, because I don't think the love oil is going to affect me negatively. It may have actually been good, but it tastes gross. So it's not really something that you want. Just
Witch
putting it out there. Yeah, witch problems, exactly.
Witch problems, that happens. Honey's so fucking sticky, though. Oh. So sticky.
It is sticky. Or it was syrup. I did something. No, I think I used honey. Syrup works great too. And
Syrup,
sometimes
syrup
syrup works
does.
awesome and it's cheaper. And people, I'm gonna kind of go back to that money thing. You can do substitutions. You can use sugar. You can go get free sugar packets from the gas station. You can get
Yeah.
honey packets. I've done it. You can get honey packets from the gas station. One of the things that was really cool that I learned about from listening to the Lucky Mojo podcast was about using sugar packets. This person called up and they said that their in-laws have an issue with them and their fiance. They're getting married soon, blah, 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 blah. So she actually recommended taking these sugar packets, putting them under the bed and the pillows, and having them just be in bed in the normal bed stuff and spread their love and everything else, and then take the sugar packets and feed that sugar to these people.
Um, that's awesome, but
The sugar's under the mattress. You're not actually you're not actually contaminating the sugar packets. And then you go into a tea or use it to bake a cake or whatever you want to do with the sugar. You're kind of infusing the sugar that way.
that gives me some ideas actually. Um, use real sugar, not sweet and low.
Yeah.
You don't want to use anything that, for me, I wouldn't use anything that has like um artificial shit. Like use the
Yeah.
real deal. If you use artificial sweeteners, some of that shit has stuff that causes cancer. I mean, if you could use it if you want to really
If you
maybe
want to
work
cause
on,
cancer.
seriously, you want to cause some issues because some of that stuff does have like this negative impact on people's bodies. So if you want to use like the fake shit, you can use it. You can actually use it in cursing,
Mm.
just because
Somebody
it
who's
has
diabetic.
right.
Saw that. You might want to keep
Yeah,
that in mind if you.
she's a bitch and she's evil. Watch out. Coming for
I
you. Um,
hmm.
no, but I like that idea. That's pretty cool. But yes, I use syrup a lot because I'm not patient. And
Yes,
honey,
syrup works a lot faster than honey. I've used both. The honey jar I did was more of like a permanent thing. It was something I wanted to keep going. It is something I'm still feeding. It's been 5 months, I think. I'm still feeding. I don't do it every week. I was gonna do it every Friday, but sometimes I forget. So I do it at least every 2 weeks, to be honest. And it's worked. It's working. So because I'm feeding it.
yeah,
That's another thing when you do a spell that has a spirit, like the Mojo bag you showed before. I believe Mojo bags you have a spirit. If you're creating, I don't really know too much about servitors, but you have to feed it and you have to keep it going, and or it will just kind of puts out.
yeah, absolutely. And that's a good magical tip. So it wasn't all bitching and ranting. Honey is amazing if you want to use it. Just have to be aware that honey tends to go a little slower, and
Yes,
syrup travels faster.
yes. But one of the
So
things that Starcast has recommended in one of the radio shows that she did with Christian Day was no matter what you use, she recommends you add a little bit of honey to bind it all together. And I've noticed Kat Ironwood has said with the honey jars, if you want it to be permanent, after a while they kind of create this like they get hard and create this protective layer on the outside. So if
right.
it's something that you're keeping going, um, you want that protective layer because it just makes it more permanent. But if you want something fast, syrup, sugar water.
I love syrup, but I like to, and this I guess this could be the colorist in me, but I like to mix or blend honey and syrup. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if I want something to go a little slower, but not too slow, I will add more honey and a little bit of syrup and mix it. Or if I want something to go a little faster, but still have that kind of that slower vibration, I'll
Mm-hmm.
add more syrup and a little bit of honey. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
That's
trying
just
to remember something because somebody once told me that the different sugars that you use, brown sugar and white sugar, can be used for different things, and I cannot remember.
oh my god.
Somebody
Like
once,
right there.
and I like the brown sugar. Maybe because it's darker, was maybe to dominate, and the white sugar was more to, I don't know. I can't remember. I have to find out, but there was. I remember who I heard it from. There is a difference in the sugars, or there can be if that's what you
Yes.
believe. I've done because I usually will mix brown sugar in with the syrup. That's what I've
Yeah.
done before when I use the syrup, but just to make it a little bit thicker and to make it sweeter.
Yeah. There is, and I don't know why I can't fucking think of it, but there is different uses for brown and white sugar, and I cannot. Again, I can't pinpoint it either. I can't recall. Just went out the window. Um,
Yeah.
but I love using syrup. I love using sugar. I love using that stuff, and adding a little bit of cayenne pepper or chili pepper to it, um, it gives it a good kick. And again, it just
Hmm.
depends on what you want. But if you need to kind of ignite something, I like adding a tiny bit of cayenne. Even because when you want to sweeten someone up, you also want some kind of spark too.
Yeah.
So I like adding red pepper a little
I
bit.
think it depends on the situation. I don't know if you want to spark with your boss if you're trying to make your boss nicer to you.
Well, if you want to kind
Or
of,
maybe
it just depends on how you implement
if
it.
you want to climb up the ladder, maybe. Um, I can see it maybe sparking a better communication and something on a more friendlier level, not necessarily a relationship with your boss. I can see
Yeah,
that. Yeah. If you're having a communication barrier, maybe it kind of opening the way for that.
crack it open. I think
Yeah.
also, and that's where it goes back to communicating with the spirits, the essence of the herb you're working with, because it has so many different ways to do something that when you communicate with it, you program it or you work with it
Hmm.
to achieve a certain result. That's when it knows what it's doing in that working. You
That's
know.
why these and even crystals too, and these herbs, they have so many different uses. And some of them, I can't think of an example. Some of them are protective and then also maybe lustful at the same time, or lucky, or is there different things. And if you're trying to protect yourself, you don't want it to bring out that lust properties, or maybe something is protective but is also hexing. You don't want it to bring out the more negative properties if you want to use it for protection.
Yes. We got another question, not on this thingy here, but
Okay.
elsewhere on Facebook, basically asking because there's so many people who believe writing your own spells is far more powerful than using an old source spell or a spell created by someone else.
Yeah.
I know what I believe on it, and I will share that. But what do you think about it? Do you think that somehow writing your own spell is more powerful than a spell that's kind of tried and true and has been around for a lot longer?
I think whatever you're doing, you need to believe in it. I have done a spell, remember years ago when you wrote that love yourself spell? I have done that, and that was very effective. And I went by the letter of how it was written, and it wasn't written by me. I've also written my own. I've also tweaked my own. I think it depends on your intent behind it. It depends on what you put into it. I don't like a lot of prefabricated spells. I'll read them and I'll be like, no, and I say it to myself, there's not enough ingredients to do that. Because it's something that's supposed to be like a major thing, and there's like two ingredients, and I'm like, not gonna cut
Oh
it.
God.
Not gonna cut it. But usually I kind of end up writing my own because I'm like, all right, this is what I want to do. I get the correct candle. I either use the big glass. I only use white for those because they burn better in my where I get them. Or I pick out my color. I pick out the oil. I pick out my herbs, and I write my words. Sometimes I don't even write them. I just say what's on my mind. So I think it could go either way.
Yeah. That one's. I think it again. It really depends. It depends on the practitioner. It depends on the witch. It also depends on who wrote the old spell. But I
Mhm.
think it's not always the case. Just because you write something yourself does not mean that it's somehow even more effective or more powerful than something that has been written, decades ago. There are spells that have been practiced by many people over and over and over, and I think that adds to the working. I think that essence, that energy adds to it. So when, let's say, a neophyte, newbie, let's say when they come in and they try this spell that's tried and true, it's been practiced by many, many, many other witches before them. I think that helps them versus them writing their own, at least to
Mhm.
start, because they have this guideline. They know that it works, so they're going to trust it a little more,
I can
or
see that.
on some level they will. But that spell is going to work far more powerful, I guess, for them at least at that time because they can connect it with it. And they know that it's worked before. So I
Yeah,
think
there's
there's.
that Trinka 5 spell. Is that what it's called? Trinka
Oh
5 or
yes,
Trinka
I
3?
love that one.
That's a
Chinkify.
very I've never done it. It's a very famous one,
I
and
have.
I think that's when you do it, you're connecting with the energy of the other people that have done it before you. That's I was trying to think of like a solid example. That
Yeah.
yes, I would do that spell. I haven't done it, but
And I guess that kind of it's all this energy that we put together, we work with. We have to realize that our spells are practically alive too. So when
yeah,
you write a spell in your Book of Shadows, your grimoire, um, that becomes an extension of your practice. That becomes a living thing. So the more you practice it, the more powerful it really does get. And I have written some spells that were just total bullshit. They didn't really work that great. I was not impressed. Um, so I just threw them out. I've worked with spells that were written by other people that I do trust, and but just being able to go and on the ingredient list and look at what's being said. I'm like, okay, that's gonna work.
mhm.
Um, I've used those and they've worked amazing. And I'll get to a place where I'm like, okay, let's try a little different. I want to add something else
Yeah.
and I'll tweak it. So I think it really depends. I don't think just because someone writes something, it's somehow more powerful. Because you can write anything and it's just be bullshit. You can write anything and not connect with it. If you don't connect with it, then you can't really create life.
You have a lot of scam artists out there too. There's a
Yeah,
lot of scam artists out there, and if they create something with the intention of scamming people, I don't think that the spell is going to be truthful, as in they didn't do the research to make it a properly working spell, and the intention behind it is just not good because they're just trying to scam uh, money out of you. So that could even be somebody who's famous who wrote a book. You don't know if
just
somebody's trying to just make money, and you can tell when they're just trying to make money because it's a bunch of crap that doesn't make any sense. That's another thing when you do research on a spell and you see your ingredients list. Look up the properties. It's mostly with herbs. Look up their properties and make sure, because you may also find something else that works better for your specific situation, because everybody's
yeah,
situation is different. Everyone wants something a little bit different. So that's why there's the different kinds of sugars and there's the different kinds of herbs and stuff like that. Definitely research or use what you have. Why are you going to buy this crazy expensive herb if you can't afford it when you have something in your cabinet that will work?
right. Yeah, and just like what we're doing with our book, it's like something that irritates me is when you have all these spells that are being given, but they're not telling you why. They just assume that the
Yeah.
reader knows why these things are being done. They're not telling you why you're using cayenne pepper. They're not telling you why you're adding this to this. I think if people understood why these things were being mixed,
Hmm.
it would just do so much better. And I think that's what we're going to try to achieve with our book. We're going
Yes.
to express why we're adding things in, and a lot of these spells are ones we've done. We
Yes.
practice and we back up because we know they work. And some of the spells that I have written, I may not have had use of myself, but I have written for someone and they have practiced it and they have given me their feedback, and I know that it works. So I
Hmm.
it's important for people to understand why spells work, like why these ingredients are going in, and connect with it. So no, I don't think that just because um, someone, a witch, writes their own, it's better. Sometimes it's not better. Sometimes it just sucks.
Especially if you don't do the research. I mean, I have like my honey jar that I did, and I did the video for it. I even have it in the description, and I talk about what each herb does because that is what you're going to charge it with. I mean, I wrote it down in my Book of Shadows as in rosemary was for protection of the relationship. Trying to remember what else that I used. For fidelity, and then you have for passion, because the herbs have different. So I actually wrote that down to remind myself, so I don't have to look it up again. And you can mix and match for your uses for a lot of different things, but you have to be able to do your research. And that Kat Ironwood's book, the is it the Hoodoo Herb
Hoodoo herb and
book?
root magic.
Yes, I always forget the name. Is an awesome, awesome book, because then in the back it even says, if you want to do this kind of thing, here's the list. But you don't just go off the list. Flip back and actually read the freaking description and make sure it is what you need.
Yeah, and not only that, like if you purchase it or you get that herb, before you do the spell, connect with it and
Yes.
really feel it and understand if, see if that is exactly what you need for the work. Don't just trust that this source says this, it says this, it's good for this, and it is. Don't trust that it's going to be good for you for the working. You have to really connect with it.
A lot of times I've bought stuff and then changed my mind and used something else because it was what felt more right at the time, and that's okay too. You have to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily other people.
Yeah.
Alright, so we only got a couple more minutes and I gotta go.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
I know, you bitches need to be more interactive. I can see that there's a few of you watching. You're not even saying shit.
They want us to read their minds.
I know.
Sometimes they say that we do, which I find is kind of funny. They're like, oh, I was just thinking about that, or I was going to ask about that. And you guys cover, oh, God. Yes, I thought about starting. Stop it, because now you're just creeping me out. I saw that when I was in Alaska, and oh, stop it.
So, that shit's creepy.
I was like, oh, I can't do aliens. I'm not an alien person. I can't do. Sorry to all the alien people. I can't.
It's weird, and it stares at me.
Well, you had another one that I thought was weird, and you bought that one.
That one's cool. It's like blue, and this one is just, it's black obsidian. I think it wants to kill me.
Yeah, well, what?
I don't know why I got it. It's freaking me out.
I like the skulls. I thought about maybe starting to collect crystal skulls, but I have to save money, so I don't know if I really want to go do that. And Elisa is moving, so
I know.
I have to pay up with her and get that sorted out when she gets everything in.
Well, since it's closing practically, okay, check out our YouTube channel. Get your freaking friends to join that shit. Subscribe. Talk to us. We need 500 subscribers so we can give away an amazing Poppet. But we're just awesome, y'all. Check us out.
And we need to do a show about the Poppets too. We need to get her on and talk about Poppets are so awesome when it comes to magic too, which we didn't even touch on that today. Oh my god. You could do so much, but we need to, that is kind of in the future.
We're saving that. Yeah, we're saving that for my fairy mama.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so do that. Check out our group. We have amazing people in the group. We have some bitches too, but they're still there because I'm bored and I let them bitch.
Hate is not allowed, though. I have had to ban somebody for being hateful.
Yeah.
Hate is not allowed.
Don't be a hater.
No, don't be a hater at all. Okay.
Yeah, just come check us out, and we'll try and put the links to whatever we said we would put the links to in the
Mhm.
description. Uh, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping too.
Maybe we can get Mel to come back from the Fae, from the Fae
Yes,
land.
let's do the shout out to Mel. Mel,
Yes, we're gonna
come
channel Mel.
back. I gave Mel a few days. I'm like, bitch, you got a few days to get your shit together, go play. You're coming back to me.
Oh, we should need to talk about that too another time.
Yeah.
Connections with people that maybe we'll work on that. Because you know what I'm talking about, and we're out of time.
Yes. Damn it.
It would have been good to talk about, but maybe we can save that for next time.
Oh, and yes, I know I've been a right bitch lately, but I just realized the full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. The full moon. I'm a
Yep.
bitch anyways, but yeah.
So
Anyways,
I've been really tired the past couple of days. Full moon makes me not sleep well, even during the day, because I sleep during the day because I work at night. The full moon always messes me up.
it's crazy. It's rude.
Yes, it is rude.
Rude moon.
Okay. Which may help with some of my kids' jet lag too, which they're not too happy about. Yes, okay. So is it same witch time? No.
Same which channel.
Bye.
Peace out, bitches.